Bingetown, how are we feeling today? It is your boy Dave, and I am joined by the usual Bingetown anime squad, Kyle, who is
That
our
feels good.
rookie Attack on Titan watcher, as well as Alki, who, like myself, is a manga reader. We
Just
are
a vet all around.
just a vet all around for sure. He's our subject matter expert when it comes to anime. But we are back covering Attack on Titan, and today we are covering what should have been just called episode 88, but no, instead it is episode special 1, Attack on Titan, final season, the final chapters, which is just so ridiculous and
Oh
is a
my
perfect
God.
summation of exactly why this release format blows.
Yeah.
But I digress. Let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, we are very late with this recording. It has been a very long time since this episode aired, and I know there are a few listeners out there who have been requesting this episode for a long time. But now, with the upcoming release of what will hopefully be the actual finale, we are now catching up with our rookie watcher, Kyle.
Yeah, I was a baby and I didn't want to have the wait in between. So we waited until the last final part 4 content came out so that we could do it. I could watch it back to back. So there's the reasoning.
To be honest, it kind of worked out because if we had done this back when this episode actually had aired, even though I know how this ends, I would have been completely frustrated knowing the cliffhanger that we got at the end of this, and we've had to just sit on that for months rather than the cliffhanger we had at the end of episode 87, Dawn of Humanity, whatever. So I think it was better for us, especially better for you as a newbie watcher, to do it this way. So
Missed the theme song.
yeah, I will say I did also miss goated theme song. Absolutely, still comes across my gym playlist every once in a while. But yeah, we can get into the episode itself in a second, but quickly, just some Bingetown housekeeping. Be sure to follow all of our socials at Bingetown TV. We're on X, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. It's still just crazy that we have to call it
it's been so long since we covered, I almost said Wheel of Time, Attack on Titan, that Twitter is now named X. It's got a new name.
That is actually crazy to think about, yes. We also have now somewhat recently fired up our Discord, and we already have a huge growing community on there that you will certainly want to be a part of. You can also check out bingetowntv.com to find our full catalog of shows that we have covered here, as well as much more. Now, with that out of the way, we can get back to the actual Attack on Titan chat, and we can just quickly start with overall thoughts on the episode. And of course, we'll start with our rookie watcher, Kyle.
I mean, overall thoughts, the content is fantastic. The animation was amazing. So many good moments. It's just, I don't know. I guess I just have like the ongoing gripe about the format of things. I thought it would be longer, honestly. Not that I necessarily maybe needed it to be longer, but I guess I had this whole like movie idea in my head when it's really just almost like an extended episode.
It's like 2 episodes.
Yeah, kind of deal. So that kind of just is what it is. And I'm over like the whole content delivery side of it. The content's just amazing. I just don't know. Like it's just like past almost the point of like predicting what's gonna happen. Like I just need it to wash over me, all of the content.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen the show, like Luke, this is just the perfect time to get into it because it will finally be all released. You don't have to wait for like 6 episodes a year, and then like 2 finale episodes. Just so weird.
And I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite because I like didn't watch this like part 3 until now, like almost waiting for the last bit. But I feel like when you wait until like something's completely finished, it's like, yeah, you get to binge all at once, but like you don't get to interact with the community over like the entire journey. That's something I personally enjoy a lot. Mm-hmm. So I get the positives of that, but it would be much more fun, like you know, with us, like kind of when we watching like together over time and things like that. So kind of is what it is.
I know, I agree.
I thought the episode was really good. I have to admit I'm a little desensitized, like you guys are saying too. I just like it just feels so drawn out. I am excited for the finale. I didn't watch this episode till last night, so like I let this simmer for a fucking year, pretty much, or however long it's been.
Yeah,
I mean that goes
be like spoilers for you.
Exactly. So like I know it, so that's why I'm really excited for this final part because I know what's to come, and that's why like it did hit for me. But I mean, I wasn't like holding back tears. I guess I went through those emotions already, you know, when I read it. With that being said, when this dropped, whenever it dropped, I wasn't super excited to watch it. And that's, I think, the problem with this format is that you watch something and you know it's just means you have to wait for the next thing. And it's like, at this point, instead of it being an episode by episode thing, it's come down to this, and I don't know, it's taken away the excitement, unfortunately.
Yeah. And not to like completely harp on the point, but I guess just to wrap it up, like I feel like Stranger Things did it in an interesting way of like they had the back-to-back super long episodes after a short break. I feel like it would have been kind of cool. And again, obviously there's logistical constraints of like people need to actually do the animation work. But like I feel like we could have waited, like if this one came out in like March, I feel like we could have waited those extra months and just had them come out like as one full movie, maybe, or even back to back. I don't know. It is what it is, though. The content is just fucking fantastic. I think is what pretty much trumps every other gripe you could possibly have.
Absolutely. This episode had so many big moments. Fucking Flock. Goodbye. Thank you. Good night.
I was watching RTTV before the recording, just as like a slight refresher on things. It's just funny that they call him Flop.
He's definitely a flop.
Is perfect. Yeah,
he's such a simp. Fuck him. He's a loser.
No longer have to deal with that guy anymore.
They should have squashed him. I don't know why they squashed the poor little kid with one arm who already had a shitty life.
Yeah.
They didn't squash this fucker.
I was re-listening to our like last season content, so episodes like 76 through 88, whatever it ends up being. And the first episode of the season, I was like, I'm just declaring I'm a Jaegerist, like let's get it. And then I listened to the finale and I was like, it's getting kind of hard to be a Jaegerist.
No, he's psycho, dude.
That's how I feel after this episode, even harder, obviously.
He's a psycho. I mean, he's tough mass scenes. Murderer, serial killer,
all the above.
All right. Let's get into it. So we open up with a scene that, for the manga readers out there, yes, me and Alki looked at each other at this opening scene, and we obviously knew what that meant, but we won't harp on it any longer. But we'll move on to the next opening scene, which is the child thief Ramsey and his friend, who are essentially just hiding money in the woods. When they see some villagers frantically running away, they begin to feel the earth trembling, and we see the rumbling closing in. Was really hoping right here would be rumbling. But was not then. If not then none at all. So after we get that, we are brought back in time to Eren's time on Marley. We've been periodically getting these flashbacks of Eren's time in Marley, and I think this is just the final flashback of these events. So we see him just walking through the streets, just casually thinking about how he's going to murder everyone on this island. And he briefly thinks about the consequences of both options, if he goes through with it, if he doesn't go through with it, but ultimately doubles down on the idea that the rumbling is going to happen.
It's also he doesn't have a choice. It feels like.
No, I mean, he admits it here. He says, I mean, I see it happens in the future.
Yeah.
And it's not one of those things where it's like, I can change the future. He just plays into it where it's, I know this is going to happen.
That'll be interesting.
He manipulated himself into doing it, no?
Yeah, I mean, he 100% did.
I think at the end with like the final quote of the episode, but that's just like what I was thinking watching this. And again, after listening to our last of, I guess, finale coverage of like us having a whole kind of discussion about like whether all of this stuff really matters, you know, where they go to like the political speech of the guy and Eren walks out because nothing moves him and everything's kind of preordained. So like, how much does it matter type of stuff. Yeah. But it's just like, I love the idea of it, like the concept of it all, and like how like the internal, like we get the internal monologue of him like dealing with it. I love all of that stuff. So it's honestly, do we need much more? I just getting inside Eren's head is so interesting.
That's why I love just thinking back on the Crunchyroll Awards when he was nominated for both Protagonist of the Year and Antagonist of the Year. Like that's just funny. That is something you would never see anywhere else. And agree, the thoughts that are running through Eren's mind, they're funny in a sense because, again, you're right, it's gonna happen, but in the same time, like, he's also trying to fight it not happening, but his hatred just comes out on top. And like Alki said, I mean, his older self manipulates his younger self the entire time. Like this was all 100% planned out. The events were led up to this, and
also, it also feels like the him now and Marley has done manipulating, but he's also being manipulated.
Yeah,
type of deal, which is like an interesting
goes right into the Armin quote right at the end of the
type of thing where it's like where's like the turning point almost where he's like fully into it. It's just I don't know, it's very interesting. I could talk about something else, but I won't, of like another like I want to say content, but that's like off pod. It won't, the conversation will be too big for this, so Gotcha. I just love the idea of it, basically. But it just gets me going.
This next scene is just an overemphasis of all of what we're just talking about, where he sees the kid Ramsey, getting the shit kicked out of him, and Eren, of course, thinking that because the world he's going to destroy this island anyway, there's no point in saving the kid. And he ends up saving him, which again, just is this moral dilemma of what is Eren, what's his deal? Like he knows he's going to kill these people. But I think specifically here, it probably just reminds him of his younger self, like all the fights that he got into. And maybe this was like him just trying to save his younger self when he was like innocent. But it's just funny how it just all works. And he knows he's going to save the kid, and he's still like not trying to save the kid. And then he does. It's just so funny.
And it doesn't matter at all, but he still goes through with it. And like the outcome is the same no matter what. I just, the internal back and forth is just such an interesting thing to think about. It's like almost like I want to like do mushrooms and think about it for like hours.
Oh, 100%. And
type of deal.
And then he's apologizing to the kid. It's like, I'm sorry, I just saved your butt right there.
Yeah,
and the kid's just standing there. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Content is like way too frightening to watch on mushrooms, but like the morality aspect of it is very interesting to think about.
Sit down and talk about it.
Yeah. For sure.
But back in the present, the boys and the villagers are continuing to run away. But of course, they are unable to outrun the long legs of these colossal titans, and they are inevitably trampled. I just vividly remember this manga panel from the manga of the footprint, the kid's blood splatter just all over the footprint. This is when I remember probably even texting Alki and just being like, this is the craziest shit I've ever read. Like, it's just so fucked up. Yeah.
Well, he gets his just
I'm
desserts.
just kidding. I thought the best quote from the episode was probably in the last scene. It could have been later on, but when he was like, he was like, Eren. Eren was like, I learned that there were other people and it pissed me off. Or whatever. Like that shit I was like, whoa, like you gotta be fucking damaged and real sad.
Yeah.
You know, to take something your life is like, you grow up thinking that you're stuck in this island and these walls and these titans are gonna kill you. And then you find out actually no, there's hope out there. There's civilization, there are people. But instead you're like,
the people are doing this to
like,
us.
fuck you.
Yeah, the people
you know what I mean? Like my life was a lie. It's so
crazy.
Deep. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to think like he's in it. Like the rumbling would be one thing if he set it off and it was just like a bunch of titans that went, and he'd be like, haha. But he's like literally in the procession.
Yeah, he's like doing it.
Like reveling in it, I guess, in a sense, which is even another on top of just like the whole sadistic, just nihilistic, every negative fucking word you can think of.
It's so weird. You said it earlier. It's sadistic and he's a masochist. Like he is getting fucked and fucking. Like, like it's insane. He's just like this like emo edge boy that just
he is 100% reveling in it, and I think it's just his way of coping with the idea of him just genociding all these people.
He's
because
like embracing.
He's like, I am now
the
setting
morbidity,
free. It's
morbidness,
morbidity,
morbidity. Thanks, dude.
I think I don't know. It sounds right, and it also sounds fun to say. But yeah, and then at the same time, I feel like even maybe dipping a toe into like a prediction type of deal, like. Does he actually like? I don't know. I'm just so curious to find out like how far, like if is he truly gone? Can like the level of manipulation, if it's ongoing, does it stop? I'm so curious to learn more about his mindset as he's just trudging on this path of destruction. The scenes were unbelievable. I mean, it's so well, like the art is crazy, and it's almost like wrong how bad and realistic it looks, but like they're just fucking shit up. I mean, you see the wall of them and you think like, okay, like you could probably dodge a couple of them, and then like they show like the aftermath and it's like literally a footprint on every fucking square inch. Like all of the walls are gone, all of the buildings are gone. They're fucking catching on fire even if they don't crush you. Like it's just crazy.
That's the gruesome, extra gruesomeness that this show provides that really sends it over the edge, because you're right, it's just not just the Titans trampling over everything, it's just the heat they are exerting also is just wiping everything around them.
Full-blown destruction.
We see women, children, babies, like everyone.
Yeah,
no
they're
one
trying to
is
grab
safe.
that guy out of the car. They're all trying to escape. Those dudes,
people
dumbasses,
are
are trying to
turning on
loot
each
that
other.
building. Like absolute idiots. Like, and they literally showed us the teeth like cracking and popping out of Ramsey's head, and I was like, Jesus Christ,
So
dude.
bad. It's
Yeah,
so
also,
gruesome.
him seeing Ymir was very interesting. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's an Eldian.
He must be an Eldian, yeah.
Yeah, so like they all have that connection. Obviously, him being Eren has sent other Eldians to the paths and viewed the coordinates. So that's how I'm kind of taking it. I do wonder if that will be something that pops up going forward. And that's just like I feel like the first time we've seen it, we've watched obviously scores of Eldians die in this show over time. So and to my knowledge, that was the first time that's happened. So
I like your comments too about how you're just unsure of how the ending is going to go, because I feel like the show has done a really good job of, obviously here we get in a second, like Armin still believes that Eren is salvageable and can be saved, but also we get the speech, which I guess we can just get there when we get there. But I like where your head's at. It's so hard to determine how this is actually going to play out in the end.
Yeah, it's just a really interesting blend of like things feel predetermined, but the show still has this underlying layer of like hope involved, of like the scout regiment, but also it does feel like it's useless hope at the same time. So it just feels like it's hitting all of those notes in like a perfect harmony.
I feel like
I felt
compelling.
like I remember reading and thinking like, Armin, give it a rest. This is irredeemable. I think that
it's like Naruto and Sasuke, man. Like, why did Naruto?
Yeah.
There was 3 years that Naruto
was 700 chapters of that.
I mean, you rewatched some of the podcast, Kyle. I think that was my take back then. Like, just like, come on, Armin. At some point, like I respect it though. He's definitely the best of them all. He sees things objectively. But he also cares about his friend. I think he's truly coming from a place like, not only is he upset to see all these innocent people die, like he is genuinely worried about Eren. I think the most out of all of them, besides maybe Mikasa. So I personally felt like while reading, like, I don't know how he can possibly turn back from this. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying it's so hard to see
like a hopeless endeavor.
How he redeems himself at this stage.
Completely agree. And so, speaking of Armin, him and Annie share this awkward moment over basically their mutual crush of one another, but they also start talking about the meaning of what it means to be a good person.
This was interesting because I feel like, they know about the memory stuff, don't they? Or is that because that was like, or is that like somewhat unknown information about the Titan stuff?
What memory stuff?
Like does she not know that he obviously has like Bertolt's memories and like that's why he feels that way about her?
I guess I think she does bring that up, like the idea that like Bertolt and I can't.
Yeah,
she
I
can't.
just don't remember.
I think the overarching thing is that like Armin doubles down on the idea that these are his memories, his feelings.
Yeah, that's true. Because she does keep saying why, like why me, why?
Yeah, because she does say Bertolt felt the same way. Why aren't you?
Yeah,
it's just not those memories.
Felt like
but
she was trying to drag the actual statement out of Armin while she knew like the actual.
But he was professing himself to her before he had the colossal Titan power.
Yeah, that's what he's also saying here, is that I've always felt this way. Like when you were in the crystal, I didn't have Bertolt's memories then or whatever,
Right.
So it's just something it was, I guess, cute.
Feels like a tease.
Yeah, it is definitely a tease for right now.
Unless Annie fucking, somehow makes it to the
to where they are, yeah.
I feel like, they're just going to die separate, horrific deaths, probably, knowing this show. So,
of course. Yep. And,
yeah.
but they, again, discussing the whole good person thing. Annie sees Armin as a good person, but the whole, morality and ethics of the show is Armin a good person? We know deep down he is, I guess, if you want to define it.
Do we
person.
though? I feel
but
like
he's
relatively.
Also, yeah, but then again, he's murdered thousands of people, and he obviously doesn't let that go. And that's the whole thing about these scenes here is that none of them can let it go, and they never will let it go. But they still want to do it for the good of the humanity.
Armin did it for like war. I mean, even Reiner, you could argue like it's war. Eren is fucking wiping out.
It's true.
But people that aren't even involved, like Reiner,
I don't know.
In a sense, you could argue him and Annie, whatever, their fucking motives were validated. Like at the time, I mean, they were brainwashed, blah blah blah. But it was war,
Yeah,
soldiers kill soldiers. You know what I mean? I mean, look,
it's hard.
Obviously, they did some questionable things. Their morality is in question, and
I think the morality is gone.
If I was them, well, we're talking about Armin, right? If I was them, I would feel very conflicted too. But I also don't think you can put them in the same category as Eren. I mean, absolutely not.
Oh, I would say no.
Without a doubt.
I would agree with that. But Eren is like the worst thing you've ever even like read in a book. I don't think I've ever read,
except for Flock. Flock's Flock's above Eren still.
We were watching, and I'm like. I think if anybody's a JJK watcher, I mentioned in the last video how we did like a tier list, and I was like, is he an S tier or whatever? I think he's fucking dude. He can fuck shit up. First of all, I hate his design. My God, I kept saying ew.
the huge
the founding titan,
skeleton, whatever. I guess he has really tiny hips. He has really tiny hips and just a big rib cage. He
looks like a fucking what's the Stegosaurus with like the spiny. Whatever, and then he's got like human feet. I think it's funny.
Yeah, the fact that the human feet are just what's pushing the whole thing, the whole mass is just so ridiculous. But
I did like this for Armin though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean,
with Annie.
This is kind of setting up into what will the next couple of scenes of when he becomes, hint, hint, wink, wink, commander. But we'll get there in a second. I'm not going to list all the names that are here at this port, but we'll just call this the Frenemy Squad since they used to be enemies and now they're friends. So the Frenemy Squad.
They're just new scout regiment.
Yeah.
Friends, then enemies, then friends again.
Yep.
Peek's wearing the fucking jacket, so she's part of the squad. She's got the scout regiment jacket on.
Yeah,
whenever
that's
I hear
actually
Peek's
funny.
name, I laugh because I just think of like the whole Attack on Titan community and how thirsty they are for Peek, and it's so ridiculous that they we'll move on from that. But they're working on repairing one of the planes on the harbor so that they can get back to fight against Eren.
The goat.
Yep, Onya
Nice
Capone. I did write his name down because I know Kyle loves to say his name.
Great guy.
Annie decides here that she's going to flee from the fight, which can't really blame her, to be honest. She has been Reiner, all of them have been through so much, so I don't blame her for just wanting to dip out and just accept her fate somewhere. If she dies, it seems like if she's going to die, she's going to die. She'll take it, but
it's
I don't blame her.
That Connie's reaction to it is Annie's fought enough, and like looking around, it's like, dude, everyone almost arguably has fought more than her at this point. Like she's kind of fought almost the least out of everyone because she was in that stasis shell for years, but that kind of
also
past the point. It just gave me a chuckle thinking about it.
And it's basically going to be her, Kiyomi, I think her name is, Falco, and Gabby going to, I believe they're aiming for Paradise Island. I mean, that's the only quote unquote safe spot in the world right now. So I think that's where they're going, or they're just going back to meet up with everyone in Marley. I don't really know. I don't think it really matters all that much. They're just fleeing the scene essentially.
My geography is bad, but I thought aren't they going back to the Azuma Bitos?
Oh yeah, that's probably where they're going because that's probably the farthest. That's probably the farthest destination from where everything I think it seems like is happening. So it's going to be a safe spot for the moment, and they're just going to bide out the time and hope that this squad can take down everything, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
but again, I feel like reality, like how the Rumbly can't turn very quickly. I bet so. Like once you skirt them once, you just fucking just go behind them and just rebuild behind them. You just got to dodge them one time, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, they can swim though, so.
I also want to shout out my boy Levi because we get some quick flashes of him persevering through his injuries, just an absolute beast. Love that he only needs 2 fingers to use
Didn't
any
look
of the
great.
Barely.
yeah, to use
Yeah.
any of the ODM gear. They're getting hooked up with new ODM gear if that wasn't clear either. This is going to help them maneuver a lot easier through the Founding Titan and whatnot. Yelena also reveals where Eren is most likely headed. So our savior squad, frenemy squad, now has their destination, and then also doubles down on her, Yelena, their idea, her and Zeke's idea. I think is it her? I forget.
Yeah,
honestly.
the euthanization plan.
Yeah, and she says, "I hope you guys can see now that this was the right plan, or the euthanasia plan was the right plan."
I was shocked to hear like Hanji be like,
And Hanji
"You're
agreed.
right."
I mean, I feel like objectively speaking,
Yeah,
looking around.
I don't think
exactly. That's the thing. It's
objective. I
looking
think
around.
subjectively. Yeah, against this
Okay,
maybe.
fair. I
Yeah,
guess
it is.
objectively in terms of the number of dead bodies is potentially objective, but I guess you can interpret that number subjectively.
And then this is where the biggest bitch of them all, Flock, comes back, literally guns ablazing, and just ruins everything for our team. Squad needs to make some quick repairs because Flock shot out the engine tank. They need to weld it back, and it's going to take an hour. But we see the earth is shaking. The rumbling is on its way. Yep.
Interesting Flock's quote. I don't remember like all of the words, but it was like our devils, and I couldn't tell. And maybe this is the point of like, does he mean like our squad, like our devils, as like Eldians, or does he mean our devils as in like Marlians?
I think
are
he
the
means
devil to them?
Marlians, and I think it's kind of similar to the same boat.
Doesn't he say our devils are the like our last hope or something like that?
Something along those lines, but I think he's talking about the devils as in like Marley, because
He means
we're
like
getting
naturalized Marlians, like
everyone basically here is just saying I was right. So Yelena here admits that our plan was right, and then Flock here is saying that
makes sense.
we as Jaegerists were 100% right. Like this is the only way. So we just get both sides of them seeing things as right. Basically, again, showing that there's just going to be a clash, and this kind of goes into exactly what Eren was saying when he brings them to the paths. And our convictions are so strong for the opposite sides that we have to clash, and that's just kind of what this, I think, is the purpose of Flock saying this here, is that he just still sees Marley and everyone outside of their world as devils.
Fuck them, man.
Yeah, fuck them. But we need a volunteer for someone to stay back and bide some time for the rumbling and for our frenemies to escape. And who else but Hanji decides to volunteer, the former commander of the Scout Regiment. She wants her badass moment. She volunteers to stay back and designates Armin as the next commander of the Scout Regiment, which was very hype for sure. Shinzo Sasaguro all day, every day.
His expression's good too.
I love her last shot too, of when her last quote to Armin being, Levi still, he still can move. So, put him to good work,
Yeah.
But then her and Levi share a moment. And for the first time, Levi decides to dedicate his heart, which very beautiful. And then we can just get right into the cutting onions moment of the episode, Hanji's sacrifice. Aoki knows very well that I was really fighting back the tears here personally. I mean, I know that the whole thing with the whole, it's been months for so long, but it was still painful for me to see. Watching her burn up that's I think where the tears started really welling up, was when she started to burn and fall to the ground. But what really sent me over the edge is when she wakes up and it's Erwin just greeting her. I was like,
so happy.
I fought back the tears, but they were ready to. I could have opened that dam up, and it just could have been the floodgates, man. I was in bad shape when I saw Erwin.
I guess it didn't get like tier level emotion out, or tier type emotion out of me, because I feel like she just did it so cool. Like it was so cool the way she was like, yep, this is me. Like, saw the opportunity, seized it, was like, I fucking have been hating this job. This sucks. Like, I hate having all this pressure. Like, this is going to be fun. Like, I want to go out like a badass. Like, this is literally the perfect opportunity for me. So I'm going to fucking take it. And I love you guys. Good luck. And let's go fucking go out in a blaze of glory.
She killed it, though.
Yeah.
She fucking killed it, bro. She was fucking that shit up.
Yeah, it was
She
awesome.
skyrocketed up my favorite character rankings after
That
this
they
episode.
animated
literally
that well. It
She's
hit
staring
hard.
down like sure death, and it's like, oh my god, Titans are so cool.
I know that was so funny.
And Levi makes the comment like
He's
you're
like,
going to go out the way
"Oh."
you've always wanted to go out,
Yeah.
just which it's
So
so
badass.
fitting for her. But
What about when she like said thank you to Peak or whatever? She's like, I hope one day I can ride it and feel the
Yeah.
heat of your back.
Yeah, because like that got so
She's like,
weird.
yo, get
so
the fuck out of
fast.
here. Yeah. No.
Yeah, Hanji's fucking awesome.
Hanji is the greatest. Rest in peace, Hanji. She is now definitely in a better place. No longer a part of the rumbling. She's with her seniors and elders and everything. I love that she's greeted by Erwin because she always respected the hell out of Erwin. Was always bringing him up, and now she got her moment. Yep,
greatest
Kyle's
character in the
goat.
show.
And it was great. And she looks up and she sees the plane, even though she shouldn't physically be able to see it, but she does see see the plane take off safely, and that's her sigh of relief, and she did her moment.
They're all just crying their eyes out on the plane.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I forgot that she combusted.
I remember the cape falling in the manga too. Like we see that shot in the manga. That's something that just sticks very well in my brain as well. But the plane takes off successfully, but only has half a tank to get them to Fort Salta. That's where the squad's headed. That's where Eren's headed. On the flight, they discuss Eren's actual physical location within the Founding Titan. Now that he has the Hammer Titan's abilities, it's not a guarantee that he's going to be in the nape of the neck. He could be anywhere in the whole entire Founding Titan, which
glitch
is we obviously know is gigantic, the biggest thing we've probably seen in the show by far in a way. So
I'd put myself right in the hips.
Yeah, and the backup plan will be to just unleash Armin's colossal titan as just the nuke to just blow everything up, and that'll be a last resort because obviously Armin and Mikasa do not want to kill Eren.
That is such an unfortunate ability for him. You got to do it for us.
They legitimately have to plan it out. Like they have to make sure that, especially when he does it, that they're not within however many meters. Like
when he's in I guess season 4 part 2, when he at the beginning of the Marley invasion.
Oh my god!
When he's just on the boat and he's like,
I'm sorry.
He just blows up. It's like that's
the entire harbor. It just evaporates. There's nothing left because the explosion's that big.
That's so unfortunate that Armin just has to be, and not even a suicide bomber. He's just a bomber.
Yeah, that's just going to continuously bomb people over and over, and he hates doing it. But they also deduce that potentially killing Zeke will cut off Eren's ability to use the royal blood.
Very interesting. Thankfully, I rewatched a recap of last season because I obviously the moment where Eren gets his head shot off was like, oh my god, crazy, and then Zeke catches it type of stuff, and I just that aspect of it had slipped my mind a little bit that Eren technically doesn't have royal blood type of thing, so he needs Zeke to have the control over Founder Ymir. So that was something that I had kind of forgotten about. So I'm glad that is
we had to rehash that
called
too.
that out.
We had to rehash that too. So Zeke is somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my mindset, I guess, is that my idea is that I don't think he's obviously willingly doing all this. I think Eren.
No, he's probably horrified.
Well, I think Eren is also just, straight up mind controlling him somehow. Maybe he's just captured Zeke in this endless time loop of just, infinity, all these timelines that have been going on and outcomes. And I think he's just kind of stuck there. And Eren is just kind of like Gojo's infinity. He's just experiencing everything so much at once that he's just frozen in place. And Eren is just able to just constantly just touch him and just have access to the royal blood the whole time. So, but their idea is that they're going to kill him. And who else but Levi takes on the task of wanting to kill Zeke?
It's gotta be.
I mean, we've had 2-3 battles now, and Zeke's come away alive in all 3 of them. So this has got to be hopefully the last time.
Lost an eye, several fingers.
Yeah.
So his scars look great. It's it feels like it's a shame that we won't get to see him maybe older, with the scars being not fresh boys.
Yeah.
With bandages and stuff, because I would like to see old gnarled Levi with a couple fingers, all the scars and stuff.
5'3" stature.
That would just be an interesting sight.
I think he looks cool like that too.
Yeah.
So do you think that when he goes after the the Beast Titan.
The
Like, do you
Beast.
think Zeke's like in this like manifestation of the Beast Titan?
I hope so, just because I feel like
That would be easiest for our squad.
yeah. Well, yeah, and also it feels like I obviously Levi is like fighting the idea of the Beast Titan, but I also feel like he has like personal beef with Zeke himself more than he has personal beef with like just the Beast Titan type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it goes beyond just the situation itself. Yeah.
I think it's personal with him and Zeke.
Yeah.
So if it's just Zeke's powers like manifested in a certain way, I feel like that would be like 85%.
It's going to be, it's hard to guess because, I mean, will Eren be able to use the Hammer Titan's abilities for Zeke to keep Zeke safe while he's doing all this?
Yeah.
You know, is he going to be able to shift Zeke around as well as himself?
And like, again, if Zeke's being forced to do these things, is he then being forced to take
yeah,
the
and then
form of
will
the
they
Beast
be able
Titan, or like is it just Eren?
and then is it a matter of, are we going to save Zeke too? Is he going to somehow
see
live
more
now?
of the Warhammer Titan abilities? Because I don't think we got enough of that in the story. Like, I hope in
They're
this
pretty
final fight.
They're like
They
endless,
are,
it feels like.
yeah, they are crazy. I mean, we get it kind of, I feel like, at the end here. But we'll make our way there to it. The squad on this the plane is all reminiscing on the fact that they've killed many of their allies to be able to get to this moment.
Reminiscing, yeah. It's just a funny way to think about it.
But it's all been for the greater good. And then Reiner makes this small little comment about how he feels like Eren is wanting them to stop him because Eren has not prevented them from using their powers. But that gets immediately squashed here by Eren bringing all of them to the paths. They're immediately pleading with Eren to stop the rumbling, apologizing to him, letting him know that they understand how he feels, but they still want him to stop. But he legitimately just brought him here just to tell them we're not having a discussion about this. I am going to go through. Yeah. This was
from like
really
a storytelling.
Yeah, this was really
where
important
like,
for the story. 100%.
Like we're having this overhanging question of like we're gonna talk to him. Like plan A is we're gonna talk to him, and I like how they had this moment where he was like, "Nope, like you guys think what you think, I think what I think. Let's fucking fight," type of thing.
That's like the childish.
Maybe they still
like,
do talk,
way.
but I feel like I like it more this way. We've kind of had a midpoint where he like outwardly rejects it,
100%,
and then it's not like hanging over us until like the last like 10 minutes type of deal.
It just adds more to the gray area of like, how is this actually going to end? You know, like it's just exactly what we were talking about earlier. Are they going to be able to save him? What is going to be the outcome? And it just
hard to watch
I just
a little
love
bit
it
too. Like they're just running through the paths, and Gene's like you don't trust us. Like we can fix everything together. Like Connie's yelling, Mikasa's yelling, Armin apologizes for whatever fucking reason he thinks he did something wrong.
And that's what I mean. It's like,
I mean, it's just funny to think about.
And Mikasa's like, "Oh, I wish I could bear this burden with you." It's like, oh my god.
Which I mean, it's the burden is unbelievable, and that's
Millions
part of honestly
lives.
what Reiner too is talking about. I think both before and a little bit after of like, I have done a score of terrible things, and like I can barely move forward. Like like I don't know how. Like if I was Eren, I would be like begging for someone to like stop me and put an end to this type of thing.
I thought that was very great deductive reasoning, to be honest, and mature thinking from Reiner.
I feel like it just again shows us the duality of both of them, how they've always been two sides of the same coin. Like they do share these same emotions, but how he now views the situation is completely opposite to how Eren does.
I saw a funny comment in the RTTV YouTube where it was like, Reiner legitimately takes nothing but L's, but still gets me so hype. Literally, he just life just beats the shit out of him for fucking 4 seasons, and he still is like, all right, Reiner.
Yeah, he even had like a failed suicide attempt in the invasion of Marley. Like he wanted to kill himself, but no one would let him do it.
Oh my god, what a guy! What a
he is definitely.
He's been on.
I will say, Reiner, this watching now, going on with the watching, I think he's definitely one of my favorites too. I love Reiner.
They showed us a lot of like little flashbacks too of him like as a little young bull, like at the end too, and it's just funny to think like how old he looks now.
Oh my god, it's just the president.
He feels
the
like
whole
he
president
grew up,
effect.
Yeah, like way more almost than everyone else. It feels like
just the stress has just been.
He just like looks like a fucking man now that wants to obviously fucking kill himself. Which I just thought it was. Apologize for the language, but it's just like where he's at.
It's also funny too how Eren like words it here when he's like, I brought us here to have a discussion about how we're not gonna have a discussion about
Yeah.
stopping this. And
That's
it was
cool.
the line hit hard.
Yeah.
But
And
moving
the last
on.
thing too for me
Okay, go.
here is I love Connie and Jean looking at Reiner and being like, I mean, the fact that it took them this long is however you want to take that, but they're like, oh my God. Like the weight of all of the shit we've done in the past, 13 hours is like insane. Like obviously Reiner, you're have been feeling this way for
Years.
so long. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like we were obviously so wrong to judge you. That just feels like a very cathartic moment for team.
There's so many characters
Whatever.
that I just love here,
Yeah.
like John, Connie. They're all really great.
Yeah.
But out at sea, Annie and Kiyomi also are discussing their regrets in this whole situation. Not really much else to say there besides the fact that Gabby and Falco come in saying that Falco had a dream / memory that was presented to him from Zeke, it sounds like, which he thinks is possible because he drank Zeke's spinal fluid.
Mm-hmm.
His Titan is able to manifest bestial traits, and in one of them in these memories that Falco is having, he sees himself flying. So, thoughts from the rookie?
Oh, he's totally gonna fly those fuckers into the like they're not just fucking off to wherever they're going on the ship. Like there's just no way.
Clicking? Is that just now clicking, or did you think that?
No, it's just like there's no way that's the end of the last we see of Falco is him crying because Marley got destroyed and he has this fucking vision. Like they don't get to have a happy ending either. There's no way. Like they're gonna get involved. And it's again with the Armin thing. Like there's no way that's Armin and Annie's like last interaction. It just feels like it wasn't fucked up enough.
Yeah.
Like I know that there's more terrible things in store.
There's got to be
the jaw
some,
Titan, right?
There's got to be some, bro, like closure though, bro. Not everybody's gonna. You think everybody's gonna burn up in hell?
Certainly feels that way.
He is the.
I mean, closure Titan, in this, like everyone's gonna like. There's not gonna be like a happy ending for sure. But that felt like too like they kind of blush and wave to each other. It felt like there's way more to that.
Yeah.
Yes, I think what he has is called the Jaw Titan.
We'll put a pin.
It's Porco, right? Porco.
Porco, whatever his name is. Yeah, Porco. Yeah.
Galliardo.
Galliard.
One of those two, or maybe both of them together. I don't know.
Yeah. So now he is. Yeah, we'll put a pin into that theory. We'll come back to that in a couple of days when the finale comes out. Then
I'm excited to see what that version of his Titan looks like.
Yes, that will be something to look forward to for sure. And now we're approaching the kind of the final few scenes here. So we got a few scenes of the Eldians and it's Marlians, right? Heading for Fort Salta to acquire airships to flee on. We see the parents of some of the Marlian warriors. I think we see it is Reiner's mom. I think Peak's dad's there. Maybe Gabby and Falco's parents, whoever else is there. But they're all, sharing in the regret as well. This is just, we love regret in this episode. There's just plenty of it. And they're just regretting in how
a lot of hindsight going on here.
Yeah. Captain Hindsight from South Park. But to their dismay, they arrive and there are no airships left. They've all taken off. But rather than retreating, they are heading towards the rumbling. The fort commander is rallying all the people around him, saying that this is the last stand for humanity. He gives an excellent speech about hatred being the fuel and motivation behind the monster Eren Yeager, and that they should all be held accountable for being responsible.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, legend. Not like great. Yeah, like I was a terrible mother. Like boo-hoo, woe is me type of deal. He was like, we fucking suck. Like I hope this works out, but yeah, if it doesn't, like honestly, we have no one else to blame but ourselves type of deal. I thought that was awesome. That was
we were watching, and I'm like, why are they going into the fray? And then he's like, they're going into the fray.
Yeah.
Oh, and
immediately right into it.
I liked the speech. That was pretty good. Maybe it's like a little like batting us over the head, not a ton of subtlety involved, but I thought the words were perfect for the moment. I thought it was very interesting.
If there's one thing that this show does better than a lot of shows is the speeches that people give.
Great monologues.
They have great monologues in here. There's like this
Hey,
random
fun.
Fort Salta character is
Yeah,
like getting me
never
hyped
met
to
him.
just. Well, I'll make a stand for humanity. Sure.
I also
What?
love how fucking crazy a lot of the old guys' eyes look like.
Yeah.
Like the commander that was like their like
Magath.
yeah, that guy, like
Magath,
the way
yeah.
his eyes were always just so big. Like this guy too looks
Well,
fucking
they've
horrifying.
seen like literally the worst
Yeah.
shit of all
Yeah.
time.
They just have shell shock 24/7.
But the airships begin their bombing. But because the ships are so high up, many of them miss their mark. I love the look that Eren gives to the ships right before they're about to bomb.
Yeah.
It's just so felt like a conqueror's hockey kind of moment. But in a flash of light, we see the shape of Zeke's beast titan take form, and this is when me and Alki kind of looked at each other and like, Eren is definitely fucking strong as hell because
Oh my god,
he
it's
just
insane.
they take the form and he just starts hurling debris at the airships, and legitimately I'm pretty sure every single airship is taken out within minutes. Just his
And
power is
stupid,
insane.
literally dumb me. Like when you first see the flash of light, I was like, he can like fucking shoot energy beams out of his spine. Like what is going on? Then I was like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. Like,
I think we needed the
that was
music,
Zeke
like the
becoming-
iconic Attack on Titan music to
I was
go
like,
with it
what?
to make you remember.
I thought he was looking up and it was just gonna like shoot a little fucking energy beam out of his spinal cord or something. And I was like, damn, this is insane. And then I was like, okay, this makes way more sense.
I'll take some fall heat here with you too, because I was also the same way. Like the lightning came and I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Like, is he transforming into something?
We
I
hadn't
had no
seen
idea.
anyone like
Yeah.
with the transformation this episode so far
Mhm.
that I recall. So
But like I said,
We
all the
gotta-
ships are taken out, and then somehow, some way, this little girl is able to pinpoint the location of our fucking,
got those fucking
squad airship.
Perone Barra eyes.
Yeah, she's got the
What was that?
observation hockey, because that was like some of the thickest smoke I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
life, and she's out here pointing out to this. But our Avengers dive from the plane that is no longer that is running out of fuel, and they use their new ODM gear to grapple onto Eren's Titan form.
I was shocked. I thought it would be like they couldn't pierce it. Obviously, they weren't all gonna like splat on his back, and that was the end. But like, I was like, that's something I was thinking. But the new ODM gear obviously slabs.
And I was fucking hype here when Reiner's plummeting down.
Oh.
I get so hype when
See, dude, he's a beast. I mean, he's fucking the Armin Titan, but he's a beast. It's just fucking.
I get
great
hype when
character.
when they're about to take a bite out of their hand. I just get so hyped. The music's kicking in. Reiner is looking. The animation is just kicking right here. It's so
Yeah.
clear, crystal clear. Takes a bite out of his fist, transforms into the armored Titan, just tackles
He just
Zeke's
gets-
Beast Titan.
So much passion. He's just so looking forward to either atonement or like the sweet release of death that he's just like, yeah, baby, let's get into it. It's
Dude,
either
it's-
one or the other is going to happen, basically.
It's definitely-
It's, I guess, not actually true because it's either going to get atonement, the sweet release of death, or he's going to take a fat L and just gonna stack on top of all of
I
this
think
fucking
it's-
resentment of his
It's
life.
got to be atonement. Just him.
Yeah.
Just I'm willing to just
I
throw
hope
my
so.
body out here and just fuck shit up as long if I can die in
Yeah,
the
that's always
blaze
a
of glory.
bonus.
Just a plus
for
but-
him at this point.
Yeah, and then Peak also transforms into the Cart Titan, and Armin
I thought
has
they're like
one.
cheering like fans, like the Armor Titan, the Beast Titan. They're like fucking watching on the plateau. They literally get all the way up to the edge of the plateau. It's just
How
so
they're
fucking
able to
funny.
see anything is just wild.
Well,
but-
they
my
are
God.
like celebrities, especially for like
Yeah.
the dirty. Because what are they called when they become
warriors, right?
warriors? But they're like pardoned Eldians or
Oh,
something
I
like
forget what it's called.
something
They're not
Marlians.
honorary Marlians.
Honorary. That's what it
Oh,
is.
okay.
So these people are like their heroes. Like our Reiner
Yeah,
and
that's
Andy
fair.
and them is like their little like
Yeah, they
they're-
made it out.
yeah, they made out the mud, you know what I mean? That's why that shot of her smiling so hard when Reiner became the
Yep.
warrior, like she said, I used you for selfish means, like I was using you as a
true,
means
'cause
for
their-
revenge.
Their families too.
Yeah, because their families get the benefits
Yeah.
too, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
What
all
a
coming to
sick
fruition
world.
now, in a sense, you know. If
Yeah, what a
they
sick
prevail.
world fueled by hate, as the guy said. How
And
how
then
embarrassing.
Armin
It's
has
sad,
one
man.
final question for Eren. In what way are you free? And that is the big question. And
Yeah, see,
he's not.
that's-
He is not really free. It feels like, right?
That quote is just interesting to think about, and we hinted at a little bit of a conversation earlier of the beginning of the episode, where it's just question. At least for me, I'm assuming it's what you should be thinking as you watch, type of deal of like, where is he along the line of of like inevitability of things. Like he is in the beginning of the episode, he's crying because he's like, I saved this boy and I did that out of technical free will because it was a like, do I save him? Do I not save him? Does it matter? Type of deal. But he knows inevitably he's going to kill him. And it's just that feels like obviously the crux of the issue here. It's like, is he blind to the fact that he has actual freedom, but he thinks like has freedom in a different way? I'm so interested to find out. I feel like obviously he said, and we were like, he's not going to have the discussion, but I want the discussion because I want to hear him talk. I don't want to hear him be like, it's over. Like, let's just fight. Obviously that I liked it from a storytelling point at like, the where it happened in the plane, but like, I want that conversation because I want Eren to talk. Because
like, is he free in the sense where he is acting on his beliefs and letting his quote unquote intrusive thoughts win? You know what I mean?
Or is it like it's a fact of like it was always destined, like he started this plan and has to see it through type of deal? I'm just like very curious. Yeah, I don't know.
That is legitimately the question.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I can't wait.
Do you think
that conversation.
Luffy would be very envious of Eren's position right now because Eren is talking about how free he is, just trampling all over these people?
Would fuck him
do you think Luffy would just
join
him?
I think Luffy would agree, like say like obviously he's free to do this type of deal, but like Luffy would obviously stop him.
Yeah. You don't think Luffy would join him? Like,
he'd be like, no way, you're taking away everybody else.
Legitimately
thinking, exactly.
Look at me, I'm the most free person in the world, and me killing all these people is me freeing all these people.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Luffy don't ride with that.
I guess
respect.
Yeah, no, of course not.
I feel like it's like Blackbeard. Like Blackbeard obviously has an insane level of freedom on the sea, but like he's just a scumbag. So
all right, let's do it. Let's get some final predictions in. You got anything brewing in the mind, Kyle, now that we've kind of covered everything? And we've already talked about Falco a little bit, if you want to dive into that a little bit.
No,
any deaths?
Do I know how it's going to happen? No, but I feel like Falco, Annie, and Gabby have to show up. I don't think Azumabito woman will show up. She doesn't seem like she'll be like, yeah, let's tag on for the ride. Although she does say like how I don't think I could ever atone for this mistake. But I think some people
there would just be a waste of space.
Yeah, I think some people probably have to simmer in that for the rest of their life if they survive. Of like, she doesn't get a chance to atone for it; she just has to sit with it. Death wise, I feel like John, however you want to pronounce it, I feel like he'll die. This sounds wrong, but take it in the right way. Like, I honestly kind of hope Reiner dies.
No, I
type
think
of
so.
Deal. It's just. It would be. I'm just so interested. I think no matter what happens with him, his ending, I feel like it's going to be interesting, whether he lives or dies. It's just like because I want to watch his the end of his journey in the show so badly. I feel like I don't want to say I don't care as much about like Mikasa's ending, which feels weird because she's such a great character. It's just like I feel like I'm less interested. Almost
because it's like her story is the love story. Almost it's kind of a love story, but not really. It's like
I really hope Connie lives.
Yeah,
I feel like he's in that sweet spot of a character where it's like he might be someone that kind of carries on like a little bit of like the memory and honestly maybe even unfortunately like the mental emotional burden of what's happened. But I feel like
I really like Connie too.
Yeah,
That's a good pick,
I feel like he'll live.
So we have John and Reiner as of right now.
Yeah, I think they'll die. Eren, I don't know. You could totally argue. I feel like he's irredeemable. Like, there's no way, even if he stops doing this, like, the damage is done type of deal. Like, he can't just, like, live in, like, a secluded village in, like, a mountain somewhere type of deal. I almost can't imagine him dying, though. It's just the tough part.
Have you ever seen like those YouTube videos where it's like anime villains with like the most kill counts and like it'll start at like 1 and it'll like bring up someone and then like you get to the very end and it's like it gets Eren Yeager like 2 million or some shit like that, like 200 million, something crazy. I think the only person who was higher than him was like someone who has the ability to just like crush like universes and
it's gotta be someone in Dragon Ball Z.
It's someone who's
planets.
I know Frieza was like maybe up there, but it was like some ridiculous ability where they could just like the cycle was basically always of the world was always to end to this guy just crushing the universe. So he's just crushed this universe like over and over again.
Okay.
So it's just an infinite amount of bodies this guy's
So he's
produced.
just a stat pattern.
But Eren was still, yeah, basically. But Eren was like
stat
still
padding like a jackass.
Eren was top 3 or top 5 at least. But
That's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah. I just
He's going for that triple double.
I mean, maybe I feel like maybe Mikasa and Eren like dying together. I feel
Okay.
like could be interesting. Armin living and kind of having to like be the person that like helps the world like pick up the pieces in the aftermath. I'm also really curious if we get not at like the level of like, you know, what was Aragorn's tax policy, but like what is the aftermath of the world? Like I don't think we'll get into like a rebuild like logistics type of thing, but I'm just kind of interested to get a glimpse. Although I'm always like begging for like those types of after credits of like where are they now type of deal. That's just like a personal thing. I don't
know what I
if we'll
find
get
sad?
that, but
I find sad that like even if they live, those with Titan powers only live for like 13 total years after they
Yep.
get them. Like that
I
kind
feel
of
like it's
blows.
like a blessing in disguise though, because they're just
True.
destined to live a terribly destructive life, and it almost
Yeah,
is
just
like,
as the characters like that I love, you know,
Yeah.
Armin,
oh my god,
even
yeah, I forgot
Reiner,
yeah, he's
you know,
on a
like
ticking time
they're
clock.
on a ticking time bomb of life and
Yeah.
death, whether or not they
Pretty
live
interesting.
to see
that
the
probably changes
aftermath
some
or
of your
not.
answers too. That probably increases Reiner's. Like you probably are now thinking like Reiner will definitely die. Maybe
Yeah, he's got it.
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
Also,
like maybe they
he
should
has
just
like
go balls to the wall.
he has no self-preservation instinct at this point. Like he's like, if there's an opportunity to kind of do what Hanji did, obviously, he pretty much I feel like volunteered as well. So if there's an opportunity that arises to quote unquote jump on the grenade, like he's probably candidate number 1 at this point.
all right. Any final thoughts from either of you guys?
No, I'm fucking excited to know the ending of the story. It's been
So
what,
long.
it's
Years.
fucking 12 years in the making. Or
That
something
is a
like
long
that,
time.
something insane like that. I don't know exactly, but it's got to be close to 12 years. So, and it's almost like, you know, it feels undeserved that someone like Luker, I mean, he actually has watched before, but like someone gets to just like start today or tomorrow
Yeah.
and like get the
And
whole
be-
story. Like you weren't with us.
Yeah.
Seriously.
type of deal. But
I have to
that's
be
not
honest.
the right mindset,
I'm
though.
excited for this. I've fucking known the ending for what 2 years now. Like I'm almost.
That's true.
It's like it burns you out, you know. So I'm ready for it to manifest and for it
Yeah.
to.
I'm also
through.
very interested in that. I know it was quite controversial when it happened, type of thing. So I don't think they'll edit the ending, you know, with like the hindsight of the public response to it. But I'm very curious to see how people that read think about the ending, seeing it in this different medium. Curious. Obviously, it feels like the content will be the same, but
You're right. There was absolutely controversy when the manga ended. There was definitely like a 50-50 split where people were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that was shitty,"
yeah.
where all those other people were
I
like,
hope,
"That was
like,
phenomenal."
I feel like the worst case scenario is we get like a dream or like Eren obviously has this ability to like travel through time, so like him like being able to like view a potential future of his type of thing, and like they wake up on the beach like when they see the water type of thing, and it's like, whoa, like I hope I
All-
don't do that.
All I'll say is I think that at the end of this, like whenever this comes out and people have their thoughts, I think it's either going to be everyone is on board with it being a great ending or not a great ending. I think people have sat on it for 2 years now. They're going to rewatch what happens in the end, and people are either going to be all on board with the ending or totally off board. I think
Yeah,
that's how
like
it's
Game
going to
of
go.
Thrones.
Yeah, it's like it's not going to be a 50-50 split
Yeah.
like it was when the manga first aired. Now that there's time for people that have simmered in these thoughts, I think we'll have a hard decision. But we'll have our own thoughts as well. Stick around for that. We will be covering...
we gave out a 10 on the coverage before, so I'm willing to. I would say this. It's tough because it's almost cheating because it was like 3 episodes or 2.5 in one. So like,
Oh yeah,
it's hard because like if the start was like 1 episode, then like maybe that's like an 8. But like I would say overall, all of this now it's like a 9.
I was going to say 8.5, 9 for me personally.
Yeah.
I think that was
That's like a 9.
I was gonna put it in the
potentially.
8s.
I almost want to say 9.5. I would say 9.
Nah.
it was.
I feel like
save
next
it.
one
Yeah,
feels
save
like
it potentially.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna put
yeah,
it like
yeah.
an 8.6.
Yeah, I'm hovering that 8.59 territory. But like I said,
why is that funny?
we'll be
It's just
covering.
funny that we're like 9.5, 8.5, 8.6.
We're cutting hairs here. We're literally
Yeah.
cutting
Dude,
hairs.
8.6 is fucking A1, dude.
I know. Just you getting that 0.1 over the 8.5 is funny.
All right, that
Give me a
will be
little
it
chuckle.
for today's episode coverage of Attack on Titan, episode special 1, final season, the final chapters. Still ridiculous.
God.
If you like what you heard, give
Uh,
Bingetown TV a follow on our socials at
great.
Bingetown TV on all social media platforms. You know
Yes,
the
sir.
works. Be sure to join our growing Discord. We absolutely love chatting with you all. It's an absolute blast. And then lastly, for all of our podcast catalog, go ahead and check out bingetowntv.com. Once again, we are Bingetown TV, and thanks for listening. Go
Shinzo,
Steelers!
Sasagayo. Go Steelers. Yeah.